Welcome to the Torah Birthing Podcast. My name is Batya Khan. I'm a Kala teacher and birth educator, and my mission is to help you have an awesome transition into motherhood so you could fulfill your tafkid with support and recognize the power that you have. The Torah is not just history. It's the guide for our lives, and it's a great way to work on mindset too. It's important to know, it's important to learn. Are you ready? Let's do this. I have a big question for you. Do you know where you're going? Do you know where you're going in life? Do you know what you want your birth to look like? So this is something that I deal with and we talk about a lot in Mafteach Shel Chaya, in the birth program, because it is something that is so hard to wrap your head around. It is so hard to know how to trust and at the same time also do your part. How to know that Hashem is the one making the decisions about your birth, and also how to do your part in the process, how to work hard and how to gather it all together. And I wanted to talk about this week's Parsha because I think it really, really exemplifies how to actually do this together. So this week's Parsha is Matos Maseh, and I'm going to focus on the Maseh part. There's tons of beautiful lessons that we can learn, but last week I talked about Benos Tzilafchad. So after I talked and did that episode, I also planned to use it and talk about different ideas from that episode. You could go back and listen to it on Shabbos to a bunch of girls who had a very, very nice games and Shabbos afternoon activities, and also they wanted to hear a shir because all these long Shabbosim, there's just nothing to do, and they wanted to be proactive and make stuff happen for themselves. So I had everything prepared. I had my babysitter. I had everything. I knew exactly what I was going to say, and I was so excited to talk to these girls and to have a conversation with them about all of this inspiring stuff that we talk about with the Benos Tzilafchad, with the daughters of Tzilafchad. And it was just so exciting. And I had my babysitter, and I was ready for the day. I was very busy on Friday. I was preparing for Shabbos, and then it came time to light candles. I lit candles, covered my eyes. I said the bracha, said my tefillos, and as soon as I uncovered my eyes, that's when it hit me that I completely forgot to write down the address. I did not know where I was going. So it was helpful that I did have some sort of the direction. It was helpful that I did look at the address and I did put it into Google Maps. So I knew sort of where in the radius it was, but I didn't know the address exactly. So I was very, very worried about it. And I just couldn't stop thinking about it. It was like the thought was all consuming. It was like back and forth. Am I going to get there? Am I not? Even when I set out to go there and I set out early on Shabbos, I was not sure where I was going. And so I went to the address that I thought it was. And then I had to check up several more because I was wrong. And it should have taken me 20 minutes to get there. And it said it took me just over an hour. It's pretty a crazy experience. And Baruch Hashem, I ended up getting there. So How did I actually get there, and how did I do this? The answer is in Benos Tzlafchad. Benos Tzlafchad, they knew exactly where they were heading, and then they just took the tools to get there, right? They just went and asked Moshe and said, we love this land, we love Eretz Yisrael, and we understand that it's the goal. And our father didn't leave any sons. So we have an obligation to get this goal. It was not selfish. We have an obligation to keep our father's portion. And if they wouldn't have gone and asked Moshe, if they wouldn't have done all the steps that they needed to do, it would not have happened. Would not have happened. And it's very interesting because this week's Parsha is just a continuation of their story. And what the Pasuk says is that the girls needed to do one more thing in order to get this to happen for them. Hashem told Moshe that they need to marry men who were from their same shevet. And you could listen back in last week's episode, what was the high benefit of having men from Shevet Menashe who were Yosef's descendants, who was Yosef's son, right? So men marrying these women from the same Shevet, their cousins, yeah? What was the benefit of Yosef also loving the land? It was a very important thing, how they got this trait from being women and also from being descended from Yosef. So at least their husbands could also be descended from Yosef and also have that laser focus on that same goal as them. And as a core benefit, the main benefit, they actually got to Eretz Yisrael. They actually kept their father's portion in the same shevet. And that was the important point that they had to do to make sure that their father's portion would actually stay within their shevet. And they were told directly how to do this from Hashem. It's so fascinating to me to think about all these journeys, how it was literally stuff that was done with Hashem letting them know exactly where and when to go. And all they did was follow, right? So just like the Benos Tzlafchad did exactly what they had to do, and they went to Moshe and they married men from their own shevet in order to keep it in the family, as Hashem said, do whatever it takes to get to the goal. They got this task done. So this is exactly how you have to do it in your birth. And exactly how I did it over Shabbos. Because I would not have gotten there without Hashem's help. There is no way you can give birth and have a good experience and have a healthy baby without Hashem's help. And it's going to happen. The truth is that your birth is going to happen. It's going to take place regardless of what you do, regardless of what you plan. The choice is, how are you going to do it? Are you going to take care of it? Are you going to prepare yourself? How are you going to feel throughout it? Right? So when I was taking one step in front of the other, when I was walking on Shabbos and I didn't know where I was going, I had some sort of vague idea. It was very, very hard for me to figure it out and to piece it together. And I was so nervous. And I was telling myself, reminding myself that Hashem has got this. And all I have to do is I have to put one foot in front of the other. And I literally, I'm telling you, I could see, I was able to actually experience this in the fact that I would not have gotten there if Hashem didn't have a plan. And I tuned into this, and therefore I felt this. It was not me that did it. I remembered a vague remnant of the address. I went to the wrong address 3 times. And finally, when I got to the right place, it was like Hashem led me there with my steps. It was just as I felt like I was naturally giving up. But if I didn't step out of my house, if I didn't do what it takes to get me out and to take me there, if I just decided I don't remember the address, I could just text her after Shabbos, it'll be a funny story. I would not have gotten to speak to these girls, and I would not have gotten to bring them Torah inspiration and to have these beautiful discussions with them. It would not have happened if I didn't do my part. It would not have happened if I didn't keep up my positive atmosphere, if I didn't talk myself through it, if I didn't work on my bitachon, that Hashem knows and He's got the plan for me, and I'm going to make it there. Because I know I'm going to make it there. And that's the whole different discussion of bitachon. But it takes work on your part and trust at the same time. We could talk about this for ages, but in your birth, this is what you need. It's going to happen with or without you because you're doing it. You're taking day by day and you are working so hard without working at all. So in your pregnancy, if you feel like I literally did nothing today, it's not true. You sustained a whole human. You grew all these organs. You did so much to grow your baby without doing anything. Take care of yourself, look out for yourself, and it will be so much better. And when it comes to your birth, the way you deal with it, the extent to which you see Hashem's presence is all dependent on you. That is something that you need to be mindful of. You need to cognizantly bring Hashem into your pregnancy, and then it's going to be that way. You're going to snap into it. It's going to be like muscle memory in your birth, because stuff doesn't magically happen. And it's so cool because I'm working on a hypnobirthing style meditation for birth. And you have to practice this before because it's a whole mindset. And it's so cool to see how you're literally in Hashem's hands and how you're literally doing the work and bringing this baby down. And I am so, so excited for the women who are in Mafteach Shel Chai to get this. And if you are interested in it, stay tuned because there will be more details coming up. In the meantime, make sure you know where you're going, because once you know where you're going, then you can figure out and take the steps to get there. If you know the address where you're supposed to speak, if you know what you want in your life, in your birth, then you can actually take the steps to get there and not have it take an hour. Have it take 20 minutes. Because that will make your life, will make your birth so much better and so much easier. Because you do so much, you deserve it. It's hard enough. And I know that you got this. You are a strong Jewish woman. And so keep traveling with the goal, the destination in mind. I would love to hear what you think. Message me on Instagram @torahbirthing or send me an email, torahbirthing@gmail.com.